Welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to show you just a little bit about how I make bacon for the carnivore lifestyle. Now, it is easy enough to cook bacon in the skillet. I like to cook it in a cast iron skillet, but it does sort of splatter grease everywhere. And typically, if I knew what I was doing, I would have had this out already. But typically, Food City, they have 5 meats for $20. And so I will buy things like this is Oscar Mayer Applewood. This is Smithfield. Let's get that up there. There we go, Smithfield. They're 12-ounce packages. They're usually sliced medium, thin to medium. They cook up really nice in the oven. But occasionally I go and I buy bacon at Fresh Market. So this is the Fresh Market's market-style bacon. It's like $6.99 a pound. It's pretty cheap. And so that's why I like to sort of do this a little differently with thick sliced bacon. Normally I might add, just a touch of salt or maybe a little cayenne pepper or something to the bacon when I cook it. But when it's thick like this, I like to go back to something that I found on Sam the Cooking Guy on YouTube. If you're not familiar with that channel, I will put a link in the description so that you can look him up. So he has an excellent channel on cooking, not so much carnivore, but I learned how to do spatchcock turkeys for Thanksgiving on that channel. I learned how to cook a 10-pound prime rib for Christmas on that channel. Just great recipes. He's a lot of fun, cusses like a sailor sometimes, but that's part of the fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, and you may have just heard my oven. I have my oven preheated to 400 degrees, and I'm just going to put the bacon in here. Just a little helpful tip that if you are ever in the situation where you're going to make a video about cooking, always have enough stuff to do it twice, because I have already done this once and forgot to turn any of my microphones on, and I had my light in the field of vision on one of my cameras. It was just awful. So we're doing it again. Here is the bacon. I'm just going to kind of turn that one down a little bit. You can put this, let's get this centered up a little better. You can put this on a rack, and I used to cook it on a rack. I always put the parchment paper down because it captures all the grease. I don't have to clean up much. But I have found that the bacon will stick a little bit to the rack even when you like spray it with cooking spray or something. It's just harder to clean, so I don't do that anymore. It's just not a big deal. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a little marinade to put on here. One of the things that I do is I put a little bit of cayenne pepper, maybe a lot of cayenne pepper. I also have the Dirty South barbecue here. Let's see if that'll capture that. There we go. And so I'm going to put a little bit of that in here. And it has in it salt. And a lot of times I will put some extra salt. I have kosher salt here, but I'm not going to put that on today. And you say, well, Tim, isn't bacon salty enough? Yes, it is. But on the carnivore lifestyle, you're always looking to add more salt, because there is natural sodium in plant-based foods that you're not getting. So I typically do that. Now, I'm going to put just a little bit of regular yellow mustard, and then I'm going to put a little bit of stone ground mustard, because I love the flavor of stone ground mustard. Not much, just a little bit. It needs the secret ingredient, and this is what I learned on Sam's Cooking Channel. It needs a little bit of bourbon or whiskey. Now, this is 12-year-old Glenfiddich whiskey. So I'm just going to put a little bit of bourbon in here. Not a whole lot. And then I've got something I'm just going to stir all that up with so that it all sort of becomes more like this. So I'm going to see if I can do this without moving things around too much. And I'm just going to marinate all of the bacon pretty liberally. So I'll just keep going here. I hope I have enough. I might have to be not quite so liberal here to get through all of the pieces of bacon. But you've sort of seen how much of everything I put in here and how closely I measured it all. And every time I make bacon like this, I change the seasonings around. I do different things. I do kind of like to give my bacon a little bit of spice so that it will usually have something like cayenne pepper. I don't always add the whiskey, but I really like the whiskey in there. I'm going to cook this. I have a feeling it'll take about 30 minutes to cook, and I am going to put this in for 25 minutes. And the reason for that is I'd rather undercook it and continue cooking than overcook it and throw it away. So let's see. We're going to put it in the oven. I'm going to wait about 25 minutes. We'll come back and see what it looks like. We're just about there at the 25-minute mark. Let's take a look. Okay, I'm liking that. I did check it at about 23 minutes just to make sure I wasn't going to go too long, and 25 minutes turned out to be just right for this thickness of bacon. It may not always be the case, but I'm going to let that sit there for just a minute. Now, you'll notice it is sitting here in a lot of grease. We'll get rid of that. However, having said that, on the Carnivore Lifestyle, you are trying to eat both protein and fat. Let's turn this over. Whoop, let's go the other way. Turn this over here. There we go. So the fact that there's fat there is not a big deal to me. And what will happen is, we'll pull this out of this sort of pool of fat, but there will still be fat on the bacon, and it will be absorbed back into the bacon, which just continues to give it that wonderful, wonderful flavor. We're just going to see if I can do these two at a time. Put them on some paper towels without burning my hand here on this tray. And then after a bit, this will sort of solidify a little bit. I'll be able to just throw it away. The pan, I don't have to wash it because the parchment paper has protected it from everything. I'm going to let that cool off just a minute, and then we will give it a try. And remember, this has a little cayenne pepper. It has a little barbecue flavoring. It has a couple of different kinds of mustard and the 12-year-old Glenfiddich, which is good stuff. All right, this is not completely cooled yet, and it is not dried off, but let's take a bite and see if I can do this without burning my tongue off. Oh, man. What I do with this is I just pack this up in a container. Obviously, if I'm making this early in the morning, I'll cook some eggs to go with it. But I will just put it in a container, keep it in the refrigerator, and then when I need it again, I just pull it out, plop it in a pan, heat it up to bring that greased fat back out of it a little bit, and man, it's good stuff. We'll see you next time.